faith and inspiration. 890 GGN.
KGGN Gladstone. This is what we're born to do. We came to say
They in their world, you know, girls, cars, clubs, you know, money. Well, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna take a minute to invite you into our world.
welcome to our world. Dope killers, drug dealers, dope fillers, dope fillers, Christ told us that most of them.
It's now time for the broadcast of the True Movement, Kicking the Facts with Derron Black. And now we go live into the KGGN studios for today's broadcast of Kicking the Facts with Derron Black.
Good morning, everybody. You are now with Derron Black, and this is Kicking the Facts with Derron Black. I'd like to say good morning, everybody. All praises due to God, the beneficent, the merciful, the master of a day of acquittal. Thee do we worship, and thee do we seek for help. Guide us on the right path, the path of those on whom thou hast bestowed favors, not the path of those whom wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray. Thank you for joining us this morning. Give a big shout out to Brother Jeff Francis. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Good morning.
How you doing this morning?
Oh man, I'm a little bit past perfect, man. Waiting for my wake up shot of coffee that I'm starting to get used to drinking.
Oh yeah, all right. Well, we definitely gonna try to give you a good shot of this true factual conversation and see if we can interject a little liveliness into your morning.
Yeah, maybe that'll wake me up.
Oh yeah, no doubt for sure.
Yeah.
So let's open up with a little bit of news this morning.
Man,
Now, you
I
know,
don't know what news you like. I like the Post Dispatch.
Yeah. Well, once again, big shout out to the Post Dispatch and the brother David Jordan handling this thing and keeping brothers definitely informed and in the loop on the different activities throughout our city.
Goings on.
Yes, sir. So first of all, now the Post Dispatch, man, they are just really, in my opinion, this that ain't right section of the Post Dispatch, it is really starting, in my opinion, to spark some conversation that has not taken place in a very, very, well, I don't know if ever. And
What conversation is that?
The conversation about the disparities between East and West of Truce.
Oh yeah. What do you mean? There's some disparities between. I mean, shoot.
Yeah,
I couldn't really tell.
right. Yeah.
What's the difference?
Well, you know what, man. Well, let's just start off with this. The cover of the Dispatch Post. And like I said, if you don't have the latest Dispatch Post, you need to go get it. I mean, the paper only costs a 25-cent donation, right? Of just a quarter, man, 25 cents. I know we're in a recession. I know we're in a recession right now, but you know, for the information that they have in the Dispatch Post, I think it's very much worth it. And if you read the front cover of the Dispatch Post, you'll see in the editorial section of That Ain't Right, $15 billion in new construction and only 1/18% for the real minority contractors will get the work in Kansas City, Missouri. And that's $15 billion, 1/18% for minority contractors having access to those funds for construction projects here in our city.
I mean, what's the big deal? I thought we wanted some new stuff being built or something. I thought we was tired of all of our old stuff. So
right.
I mean, I thought we'd be excited about having $15 billion come to our city for development.
And $15 billion is fine and dandy, but when you look at 1/18%, that looks like a disparity to me. I mean, I could see, you know, if we was splitting something up, maybe a 60-40, you know, and maybe I'd even go for a 70-30, man. But you're gonna give me 1/18%.
Yeah.
1/18%. I can't even do the math of 1/18%. And if anybody could do that math for me, please give me a call, 816-576
and see what
7234.
1/18
of 1% of $15 billion.
We want to know what that dollar amount is and how much these minority contractors received out of this $15 billion.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why this thing is so troublesome in my opinion is that, you know, it's like I have a house, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, if, you know, I destroy my house, I tear up my house, you know, and I don't maintain my house in the manner that it's supposed to be maintained to to build my equity or for the house to appreciate and for me to put it back on the market at one point in time and get a nice return. All right, so I don't do those things, okay? All right, so check it out. Your house is right next door to my house. So what happens to your house when I don't maintain the upkeep on my property, or I don't maintain it in the way that it's supposed to be maintained? Your property starts to depreciate in value as well. Why does your property depreciate in value? Because it's on the same side of the street in the same neighborhood as my dilapidated property. So and who wants to come live in a neighborhood where people don't, maintain their living establishment?
So it's sort of like the guilty by association.
Absolutely.
So, but only with the housing. So
Absolutely.
just because I live next door to you and you not taking care of your stuff, then, now it's making me look bad.
Right.
It's something like one bad apple spoils the bunch. One dead fly makes all the perfume stink.
Right. And so check this out. And so, no one wants to come live in our neighborhood because of the simple fact that I have this, trashy house. So this is what you do. You come over to my house and you start to knock on my door and you say, hey man, when what's the deal, man? Are you gonna cut the grass this week? Or are you gonna actually put the trash out on the curb instead of having to sit there on your porch? Are you gonna fix the soffit on the side of your house? Or can you do something? And so you're complaining to me and you're telling me to go ahead and do this, do that, and the other, and I just don't listen to you whatsoever. Okay, and so you take further action. You say, all right, well, check this out. I'm gonna do it.
I may not have the time or nothing like that. I may not have the resources to paint my house and to cut my grass every week when it grows and stuff. I may not be able to afford new shutters on the doors and all that stuff.
Right, and that's understandable. But check this out. How are you gonna solve the problem? Are you gonna do it for me, or are you gonna encourage me and try to do what it is that you can to help me see the value in maintaining the upkeep on my house? Well, it's like that old saying goes: if you take a man to the lake or whatever, and you feed a man fish, you fed him for that one day. If you teach a man how to fish, you fed him for an entire lifetime. And so one of the things that happens in these type of situations is that my neglect, or my lack of understanding for maintaining upkeep and all those things, that ultimately affects you. And if we are a part of a community and we're in the same neighborhood, then the things that I do and the things that you do, both affect each other. And so when we start to look at our city and we start to look at not just east of Truce and not just west of Truce, but we start to look at the north, the south, the east, and the west, and we look at Kansas City as a whole, we know that if you continue to ignore a particular part of the city, or if you continue to ignore a particular demographic within the city, that acts as a negative on everything. I mean, it just sucks the resources and sucks the life out of different places in different areas in the city. If you just don't, attack, or if you don't, just ignore one particular thing. And the thing that we continue to ignore in Kansas City is that, guess what? Minorities or black folks, and I'm not even going to say minorities no more. That's just a very overused term, and it makes no significance whatsoever. But anyway, I'll just keep it simple and plain for everybody. The black people or the minorities or blacks, on the east side of Truce, they don't control or they don't manage anything. We have no stores on the east side of Truce that we own. We have no major contractors on the east side of Truce that are actually doing significant business, and the thing goes on and on and on and on and on.
But you said something, like when you was talking about the neighbor. Everybody don't wake up the same.
Right.
You got some people who wake up, that's the first thing they do. They brush their teeth. They make up their bed. They, it's certain things. They make sure things are straight around the house. And first of all, they wake up on the right side of the bed. So they getting up. They not, if they got to be somewhere at 8, they're not waking up at 7:30 or 7:50. They waking up at 6 and getting proper preparation. But then you got a person who's supposed to be somewhere at 8 o'clock, but they waking up at 8:15 or 9 o'clock. So that automatically puts them behind. So what if you don't have anything pressing you? no pressing engagements. That's your first thing. You ain't got no motivation to get you out of bed and get you going.
Right.
And so when one person gets up and say, hey, my grass is too tall, I need to cut the grass. And another person say, hey, look, it's too hot, I don't feel like cutting the grass.
Right.
And so that's why now the grass is growing at different rates. You got different caretakers. But what I'm getting at, when you got one person who's trained to wake up and go throughout his day in a particular way, and another person who's not trained and has a different type of training, they got a different type of discipline. So when obviously, who's going to be there to succeed, that you hand the keys over to that house as you get older, when you can't cut the grass no more? Have you raised your children to cut that grass? So now when that second generation takes over that house, they also taking over that mortgage. And so, but they can't maintain it because they still not getting up at 6 or 7 when they supposed to be somewhere at 8. They still getting up too late in the day. And because we're getting this late jump, it's affecting us. It affects our day, which affects our week.
Right.
These weeks affects our months.
Right.
And in turn, we see the reality of it. It plays out, and it seems real small, but it turns out to be something real big.
Right. And this is how it manifests itself into $15 billion being or $15 billion worth of construction taking place, in our city, and only 1/18 of 1% actually goes to minority and to minority contractors, and that's based off of the dispatch post. I guess I can't get away from the word minority, so I'll just continue to use it. Who cares? But anyway, the reason why you start to have this type of disparity is because we haven't developed anything for ourselves. It's like going back to the house scenario. If I have my house and I'm sitting here, in a slop pen, or and I'm not taking care of anything in my house, it does not benefit you nor myself one iota for you to come over and clean up my house for me. It just won't work. Like let's go back to the feed of or teach a man how to fish. You feed him for a lifetime. You feed him some fish. You feed him for the day. If I am not able to wake up and actually pick up after myself and actually get things right for myself and get my house in order, then guess what? I don't benefit anybody. And so one of the things that we have to start, we will see if it actually starts to happen or not. I don't know if it'll ever happen in my lifetime. We're definitely seeing some change, and things are changing, but guess what? I don't think they're changing for the better. They're just basically changing for the worse. Well, maybe we'll see in my lifetime where we start, or on East Side of Truth, we start to own, we start to operate, we start to control, we start to develop things in our own community
and our own interest.
And maybe one day that we'll start to actually wake up and realize that what, we need to start asserting ourselves a little bit more in this political sphere, so we can have access to the resources to develop our communities ourselves.
I think that's, we may be barking up the right tree. Because, like you said, we don't have anything that caters to our interests. We don't.
Right.
The things that we buy, we don't sell.
Right.
The things that we sell, we don't produce.
Right.
So therefore, we stay at the receiving end of the nonsense.
Right.
We're thinking like consumers. We're not producers.
Oh, we are consumers. We are definitely consumers. I mean, like what, $40 billion that African Americans consume in this country? And guess how much do you control? How much production do you control? How much manufacturing do you control? You don't control any of those things, but yet and still you want to consume everything.
We have robust appetites. And what we need to do, we need to take this appetite, and we need to take our appetite to the person who's gonna cater to us, cater to our appetite, but not exploit our appetite. Point in case, one example. I was hearing Minister Vince or Brother Vincent Muhammad. Mama's 30.
Hey, right on. Give big shout out to brother Vincent Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum. That brother is out here. He's pounding the pavement. He's representing for the Nation of Islam, and that's all good, man. I got much love for him.
We need to get that Mosque 30 on Truth. We need to get that open back up. But what he was saying in his Father's Day presentation, he noted, he went to a store, a corner store, or a gas station, and he seen the girl. She was asking for all of these different flavors. She said, "I want a cherry, give me grape, give me strawberry, give me." And he thought that she was asking for some now-laters, and he thought it was real cute. And so he say, "Man, he say, man." Yeah, he say, man, I thought I like the knowledge, but when he seen that the guy had slid her tobacco. These are all the different flavors tobacco. These ain't candy that we getting. These are different flavors tobacco. And so when after she got her stuff and left, he greeted the brother with the greeting. He realized that he was, possibly Islam. He said, Assalamu alaikum. And the brother asked and returned the greeting, wa alaikum assalam, and asked him, was he Muslim? And he said, yeah. And he asked him, well, are you Muslim? He said, well, from my understanding, the Islamic custom, you're not supposed to be peddling these type of goods like alcohol and tobacco, these things that are poisonous, that is not healthy. You're not supposed to be, if you can't use it, why would you sell it? Right. And so he made that point. He's like, man, they come into our community, and these are the things that we thrive off of. First of all, if we decide we got to go to get the gas. They have all the gas. If it's not our Middle Eastern brothers, it's our Caucasian brothers with the quick trips and all of that. So it's nothing that we can say, hey, I want to go to a black-owned, minority-owned gas station in Kansas City.
And don't get me wrong. You know what? I just have to have a little quick disclaimer real quick. I definitely prefer a quick trip over that rundown, dank, dilapidated,
I do.
Nasty, filthy, just basically trifling gas station from our so-called Arab Muslim brothers. Hey man, you know what? If I just had
one thing about it is, before you go on,
right, I'm gonna stop.
They won't hire. If you notice, they won't hire nothing but one of you or one of us from the community, and they put us there as a token, just to keep from being robbed and being vandalized, and probably to draw more customers. The thing is, they have monopolized this particular market. They say, okay, the quick trips don't develop within the inner city. They only develop on the outskirts. So the only thing that you have is like your inner city oils and your old Amoco and your Vickers that they didn't took over. BP has taken over Vickers, which turned to Total, and the who got Amoco? I guess they got Amoco too.
Yeah, Amoco is not now BP.
Vickers, yeah. So they didn't took over the Total gas stations and the Amocos. But the thing is, these are our brothers. They come. We invite them to our to our community, and they come. They don't live in our communities, but they profit so much from our communities. They don't donate to anything, any organization, they make sure that they got every penny. If it said even a penny, leave a penny cups is empty. I done seen them come out and take the money out of the penny cup and throw it in the register.
Wow.
I mean, that's how vicious these people are.
Right.
And this is how blind we are to ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, but we do have a group of people, a Black United Front, MBUF.
Yes.
And you have guys, the same people who started the ACE before it was taken over and overthrown.
Right.
They're now starting
the Buy Black Initiative.
A Buy Black Initiative.
Yes.
Buy Black Empowerment Initiative.
Yes.
And you'll see the T-shirts. We also have a Community Development Credit Union. We want all minorities and black people. We want you guys to come and invest. Take your money from wherever you got it at. We got this one big pot. You just sit your money. We're not charging you. We're not asking. Just sit it there.
Right.
The same place how you got your money sitting over there, we got the same security. We got the same FDIC. Your money will be insured. All we asking is let's put our money together, and let it sit together. And then we can still pick. We still gonna beg and borrow from one another. But now we're not begging and borrow from one another and then giving it to another person who feeds and caters to their own selfish interests, which has nothing to do with us and our community, is all I'm saying.
Right. And that this Buy Black Initiative, or the Black Kansas City Wealth movement that has been established here. This is a solution. If you don't know the history of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the dollar in Black Wall Street used to circulate over 100 times. 100 times the dollar would circulate within that community.
So what? Tell me what exactly does that mean? That a dollar is circulating 100 times in the community. Tell me what that means, and tell me the significance, the value of it.
Well, if you look at what does that actually mean? Like, me and you right now, right? We produce. If let's say we were producing things, right? Now you may be producing something, I may be producing something. I take my dollar, I buy your goods from you. You take your dollar, you buy your goods from me, and the dollar stays within this room. Now, if somebody starts to knock on this door and they ask me and you, hey, do you have this or do you have that? And we provide them with those things that they need. They give their dollars to us. Okay. What do? I continue to get my things from you. You continue to get your things from me, and more dollars are now being circulated within this room.
So basically, what you're saying is something like it's something like a Monopoly game, where you got your Monopoly board. It comes with and then puts all the money in the plastic. All of that, it's a certain amount of money within each Monopoly game. So you're saying that, this board and this game came with these pieces. So you're saying that, none of this money will end up on another Monopoly board with another group of people playing in their Monopoly game. Because if we take $1 out of our Monopoly game, and take it and put it in somebody else's Monopoly game.
That's $1 less that we have to play with in our game.
Exactly, and we understand that we have to start off with a fixed amount, and we're supposed to get 200 every time we pass go. But we also know we played the game enough before where we've actually broke the bank.
And so it's like a bucket. If I have this big old bucket and I continue to fill it up and fill it up and fill it up, guess what? The bucket will be full. Okay. But if I take a small pin and I poke a hole in that bucket, then guess what? Sooner or later, all the water in that bucket will eventually drain out. And one of the things that we have in our community, we don't have small holes. We have huge, gigantic chasm. Man, I'm talking about, you can put a watermelon through the holes that we got in our community. You know what I'm saying? That's how big these things is. I mean, when you drive down the street, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But circulating that dollar, let's understand the reality of it and the rational and the logic. Like you say, we in the room together.
Right.
Somebody, here it is, we trading amongst one another. Your fabric for my spices for your lumber for my steel, your steel for my tools or whatever. Now, and this is circulating. So that means somebody throw a stack of ones. They say, hey, it's 50 y'all, but here go $100. Y'all can play with that $100 for a good time. Make sure I'm gonna give this to one person, but make sure everybody get to enjoy this before I come back and get it.
Right.
So that's basically what's happening.
Right.
That's what we want to see happen in our community. Right. But what we're happening is, as soon as somebody throw a little money in our community or into the room, you got somebody else knocking on the door saying, "Hey, let me borrow $1."
Right.
Hey, let me borrow. And so we got that person, before we can consolidate these dollars, before we can let everybody touch the dollar that the other had.
Right.
It then left.
Right.
So now, where's your dollar went? Oh, I gave my dollar to Hank over there. I gave my dollar to so now we can't trade with your dollar.
Right. And like I said, during the time of Black Wall Street, the dollar circulated in the community over 100 times.
Wow.
Now, we had businesses. We had production. We actually could spend with each other. And that's one of the things that is happening. Now is
Do you think segregation had anything to do with it?
You know what? Of course, segregation has something to do with it.
Kind of like forced to love one another.
Absolutely. Now, I'm not one of those people who believes that things should be exclusive or a person should not be allowed their own freedom. But on the same on the same hand, you should understand who you are and who you should identify yourself with, and where your priorities should lay first, before you start off, venturing out into, whatever it is, because you'll just eventually get lost. Anyway, but that's my opinion. But one of the things that I wanted to let everybody know about is Missouri Urban Legal Biz, Missouri Urban Legal Biz, and that organization is ran by Mrs. Sherry Collins, and she always has very profound insights and knowledge to interject into the conversation. And she sent me a text message, and she says that the solutions that we could take up is that the residents who don't know about available city resources should get out and ask questions to get the needed information that the ones that the ones who, I'm sorry, excuse me, they should go out. They should go out. Oh man, I'm just messing up this whole text message up. Excuse me, everyone, bear with me. They should go out and get the resources and ask questions and get the needed information. And the ones who know should share the info, and that the neighborhood should keep the other neighborhoods informed, and they should help each other fill out different forms because of a vested interest, and they should take them to the city and fill out forms. Well, basically what Mrs. Collins is trying to say, that we need to start helping out one another.
We need to start grabbing each
yes,
other by the hand.
If you know something, I mean, it's like right now, I think the city right now is offering $2,000 in grants to every neighborhood organization for neighborhood improvements or whatnot. And I think that the process is fairly simple. $2,000 for your neighborhood organization. Go to the Kansas City, the KCMO website, kcmo.org.
What does it take to constitute or qualify as a neighborhood organization? I mean, because
it doesn't take much.
When you say neighborhood organization, now you done struck a nerve. You done struck a chord, because we got neighborhood organizations that's been organized. They've been, unorthodox, but they've been organized. It's just a group of people. They organize themselves, but they don't get recognized, and they get recognized as gang bangers.
Okay. All right. So you try to say, okay. So you're not talking about necessarily the actual formal organization. You're talking about the actual people.
I'm not talking about the chartered organization.
Right.
I'm talking about
the people who really hold the neighborhood down.
Exactly. Right. The people who are the neighborhood.
Right.
I ain't talking about the people who get the money for the neighborhood and buys the houses, which is important. I'm not talking about the people who always, like they foot in the bill.
Are you talking about, you talking about maybe like organization like the Blue Hills Association?
Yes. Okay, you may have a neighborhood, Blue Hills Neighborhood Association. Yeah. They getting all of this money. Now I've been there. I've been to they meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
They got all of this stuff, and I asked. I say, man, it ain't nothing but this look like a bingo party or something.
Right.
It ain't nothing but a bunch of old women up in here.
Right.
And then I go to another one, more old women, more. It's like a senior club.
Right.
And I'm like, well, where's y'all? And every time they get these gang bangers, they doing this.
And what is that about? Why is it that all the time that the youth always get identified as gang bangers? What is that about?
Never do I see any of them youth there. The only youth that I see there is some old gay lame person from their church or something.
Wow.
And they not in the streets. They not connected with nothing, but they always part of harassment in the community. And what I'm saying is, when I sit there and I'm like, hey, I'm walking these streets every day.
Right.
I don't see none of y'all except when I see y'all walk past me. I walk my dog. I done walk my pit bull around this whole city. And so what I'm saying is, these women, they'll sit there and they'll talk and they'll say, okay, well, brother, well, won't you reach out to them? And I say, hold up, man. You think they want me to reach out and bring my group of people to their group so they can have the numbers. I say, man, look, I ain't finna go and y'all got some money for them? Is y'all got a job for them? What is y'all gonna get them? Y'all don't let them utilize none of y'all. I try to throw a party in there. I try to throw a book writing workshop. Oh, write it down and tell me, and then we'll rent it out to you, $25. Y'all ain't doing nothing with the building anyway. And y'all done took the house from somebody anyway, talking about y'all, you know what I'm saying? So my thing is, I do not like these neighborhood organizations.
Right.
And the reason why I don't like them, because they get the money and then they make sure that everybody on that board is paid and touches that money, and only a little bit of it gets to the community. And none of it reaches the streets.
Yeah.
None of it. It never makes it out the household.
Right.
And my problem is, stop getting paid off of us.
Right.
Stop getting paid off of us. Let us do our own thing. Give us the money when we come to y'all for it and say we want to do something for ourselves. We know how to stop fighting each other.
Right.
That's why we fighting each other, because y'all don't want to give us nothing. Y'all don't want to fool with us. Y'all don't want to let us do nothing.
Right. And that goes actually back to the thing that we were talking about before with getting your own house in order. You see, because one of the things that we know, we live in communities. We have families, we have have extended families and the whole nine. And so when you start to lean on your other family members, or you start to support your other family members, it brings the family together, and it actually bonds you together, and you become stronger as a whole. But when you have this disconnect, when you don't want to talk to your other family members, or you don't want to involve them in the different activities, or you want to isolate them and you want to exclude them, then what is it that you think that you're going to end up having? You have a broken home, which leads to a broken community, which leads to a broken society. So, I don't know what it's going to take for us to actually change this paradigm that we have. But I think, when we talk about our next segment, when we talk about this concept of Hellenism, and we start to really break down some of the concepts and ideologies that this culture of Hellenism has had on the African American community, I think we might see some answers. So before we roll into our next segment, let's pay some bills real quick. Mr. Francis, you got anybody you want to shout out or give recognition to for show sponsorship?
Want to shout out, man. I want to shout out, man, Fat Joe at Southside Tire, man. He's out there by Hillcrest on Prospect.
Right on.
I normally got the text for his address, got it written down and all of that. But look him up and find him when you need to get your tires straight up.
Right on. I got my tires out there for real.
Yeah. And Fridays he's on 69th and Prospect, right across from 6902.
Brother Sweet Tooth, man.
Yeah, Sweet Tooth, man. Used to be up there on 81st and Truce with the Truce dogs. But make sure y'all stop by there, man, for all your convenient needs, man. And them is the people who I recognize, other than my grandmother, Dr. Anita Johnson, and my mother.
Big shout out to Miss Johnson.
And my guys in the joint.
Right
Trey,
on.
Rafiq at the Crossroad Correctional Center, Denver Blackwell, Ty Will, Ronnie Barr, he's in Licken now, and John Mark Taylor, man. I heard what they did to you, man. We getting that worked out, man. I got my guy Brandon Ellington, man. We coming through crashing doors about it.
Yes, sir. And Brandon is definitely real with it. So, anybody who knows somebody that is doing time right now, Mr. Ellington, if you're in the 22nd district, he is on the public safety board. So you should definitely give him a call if you have any issues. He's a true champion and a true fighter. Man, one of the most. I haven't heard any elected officials talk like Mr. Ellington, and that's saying something since he's so young. And that man has definitely he has courage. He has courage to be doing some of the things that he's doing right now. So, yes, definitely want to give him a big shout out and give him a round of recognition. And also, I want to give a big plug to Anderson Miller Construction Company, Desiree L. Miller, CEO. You can contact Miss Miller at 816-474-1082, or you can just stop by and say hello to Mrs. Miller at 1601 East 18th Street, Suite 365, and that's Anderson Miller Construction Company with Desiree Miller. And also, I want to give a big shout out to my brother T over on the west side of Truce. He's at 1718 Wyandotte Street, KCMO 64108, and that's the Silver Screen Salon. The Silver Screen Salon at 1718 Wyandotte Street, KCMO 64108, and that's 816-888-7298. Yeah, big shout out to T, man. He hooked me up on my first Fridays, trimmed my beard all up. It was closed doors, and he still opened up and set me in the chair and took care of me real nice.
I got one more plug.
One more plug. Let's go. Let's hit it.
Somebody asked me, like, man, why you ain't, man, what's up with the music, man? I gotta recognize this, man. We MFR, man, we back.
That's right.
In stride.
You know it.
Man,
come
Felix
on.
Mitchell, the billionaire, man, he will be in your deck and at the hottest record stores and rocking the hottest shows. I'm letting you know that now. Be looking out for our Show Me Stay hit list.
Show Me Stay hit list.
We got 100 of the hottest artists from Kansas City. Man, repping the town real well. And we're going to be running that program for 8 to 9 months, man. We're going to do it's like our own idol, our own American Idol, man. And we putting the hot ones all over the nation, man.
Right on.
Rap, gospel, rock, R&B, man. Do your thing. Do your thing, man.
Get involved. And also, we want to plug S. Givens and Associates at 8801 East 63rd Street. That's S. Givens and Associates, Raytown, Missouri, 64133. For all your small business development nonprofit needs, please give her a call. That's S. Givens, Shioni Givens, at 816-301-0794. And also, man, they got this organization called Steptacular. You can go to the website at STEPPTACULAR.com. That's steptacular.com, and they are doing the social Wednesdays. Every first of the month they do social Wednesdays.
So what's up with that organization, Alpha Male Nation?
Oh, and we want to definitely give a big shout out to Alpha Male Nation, brother Khalifa Abdullah, Mustafa Abdullah, Kentar, Khalil, man, Bilal. Them brothers are really kicking butt, man. It's an educational foundation, so definitely look out for the Alpha Male Nation. And if anybody want to help out and help keep this show going, please give me a call at 816-564-4649. Or if you have a donation for us, you can just give us a call at 816-576-7234. And we'll definitely take donations and sponsorships to keep this show going, to keep everybody informed and let everybody know what it is that we're doing. And also, we want to give a big shout out to Mrs. Sherry Collins with Mo Urban Biz, or Mo Urban Legal Biz. I'm sorry, Miss Collins. I know she's gonna get on me for that. You know, sometimes the brother just gets a little tongue tied with his words. But anyway, those are our sponsors for the day, and we're gonna try to open up now with our next segment. We're gonna go into the Hellenism, and we can just give me 1 second to see if we can get the brother on the line, and if you have anybody else who, Reggie B's trying to say something to me. I have no idea what you try to say, brother. It's all good though. Reggie, what's going on?
We got Oscar on the line, and the other brother. Which one do you want to do first?
Yeah, we're going. Let's bring on brother Oscar. Bring on brother Oscar, and let's wrap it up with him while we get the Hellenism taken care of. Brother Oscar.
Hey, what's going on? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you doing? Brother?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm blessed, man.
Right on. And just for anybody who may not know who you are, give everybody out in Radio Land a little introduction about who you are, what organization that you represent, and what it is that you're doing in the city.
Well, my name is Oscar Bolton. I'm the founder and director of an organization called the Posse, which is peers organized to support student excellence. And who I am, man, I'm a brother who just serve young people, man, and want to see them rise to the next occasion, you know, because I always say in order to change the future, we must first start with the present.
I like that.
You know? So the young people are our future, and they right now, though. So we got to start with them right now. Otherwise, we're going to wind up in the same drama that we have today. And our young people are filling up our prisons. They're filling up our graveyards. I mean, where are we going to bury our elders if our young people taking all the grave spots?
Right.
So we got to be able to understand that we in a state of emergency, man. And if we don't look at that state of emergency, we in trouble.
Right.
You know, we can't keep putting it on hold. And I think that we have to do 10 times more than what we've been doing to help our youth.
Right. And you say you run an organization called Posse. And let me just a quick disclosure, real quick. I met the brother Oscar Bolton a couple or maybe last week, and when I met this brother, and I got an opportunity to actually sit down with him and actually talk with him about what it is that he's doing. He's had a lot of controversy surround an event that he's throwing. Maybe he'll talk a little bit about that. But I want to let you know, man, I believe that this brother is definitely a benefit and a plus to our community, a plus to our people, and a plus to the youth in general. So let them know a little bit about your organization Posse and the up and coming event that you guys are putting on.
Yeah, well, Posse was established back in '95, man, and one of the reasons I established it, I don't know if a lot of people out there remember the Urban Peace and Justice Summit that happened back in 1993. The media called it the Gang Summit because it brought former gang leaders from all over the country to one area. And what happened was the brothers from, on the East Coast, they wasn't going to the West Coast to meet, and vice versa. The West Coast wasn't going to the East Coast, so they had to figure out a neutral place to meet. Well, of course, Kansas City came up because it's a neutral spot. Nobody has a stronghold on our city. We had brothers claiming blood and Crip and GDs and Vice Lord, but the organizations that started, the people that started those, didn't have a stronghold on us or the influence. So they knew that they could come here and it would be cool to have the meeting here. And then they were, and LA had already been ahead of the, head of the stage, as far as the peace movement. So we definitely wanted to get involved. Chicago was doing the same thing. They were doing the same thing in New York, down south. And it was a powerful movement, man. And what's the best place to bring it? Bring it to the Midwest. And they brought it here, man. And a lot of us saw the difference between gang banging and actually being an organization about community. And when I learned that a lot of the, groups like Grape Street, Crips, Treetop, Bloods, they were doing stuff like going into schools, recruiting young brothers to actually do some positive work in the community. The brothers stopped gang banging and started, doing positive work. And we were like, man, how can we get on that? How can we get involved? I didn't know nothing about grants at that time. And the brothers started teaching us about when you change your movement and you're doing something positive, you can go after grants. And we was like, wow. So we like, okay, cool. Y'all brought this barbecue to Kansas City. Don't just leave us a plate. Teach us how to have our own barbecue, so to speak.
Right.
And man, and people like Sam Mann and the late Mac Charles Jones, Cleaver at that time was mayor, and he got on board. And man, they let it happen, man. And it was a positive thing, life changing experience for me. And I've been moving ever since, man.
Have they been supporting any type of movements like that lately?
Well, I'll tell you what. I believe it's there. I don't think anybody has approached them to do it. We did a 2007 summit at Penn Valley, and it was pretty powerful, man. The people that came out, and I'm gonna tell you this, man. Chief Corwin came out at that time. Former Chief of Police Corwin came out, and he spent the whole evening with us. The county prosecutor at that time was Canasser. He spent the whole evening with us, and I'm talking about we had brothers that you can look at.
I'd like to give a shout out to Canasser, man, because he's the one signed off on my appeal, man.
Yeah, right on.
Hey, that's the only way I got relief for
That's what's up. That's what's up.
From them 37 years.
And sometimes you got to say that because a lot of times all the brothers, we get raised in the hood, or all we think about it when we think of police or we think of law enforcement is always, are they all against us? We don't really hear about stuff like what you just said. I remember when Claire McCaskill was giving brothers opportunities that probably should have went to prison.
With the drug court
and all of that. She came through and was like, man, here, I'm going to give you opportunity but she also knew that those brothers had support through what we had at that time was breaking bills. So she knew that they had support. There were judges that stepped up and said, okay, this dude going to jail, but I'm going to tell you what, if y'all work with this one, I'm going to give him an opportunity. So a lot of times people don't see that stuff, man. And so a lot of people came on board and supported us, man. The Kaufman Foundation was one of our funders. Combat put some money into this thing. AmeriCorps. So it was a lot of people that came on board to help mentor this thing.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And you know what?
Center jumped in, man, and I mean, they went hard. Bill Grace came to the table, man, and so many other heroes that a lot of people don't know about, man.
Right on.
Sound like we need to have a resurgence of that right now, because it seems like what you guys did. I mean, I'm familiar with that story. I've heard it a few times in different rooms, but it seems like what you guys did. It seemed like some of your predecessors, the people who were looking at you guys' best interests, it seemed like they took y'all interest. It seemed like they seen that you guys had something going on, because now we don't see the youth, the peer group, doing these movements like that. We see these same old neighborhood organizations with the old church, with the motherboard doing it nowadays. And they doing it because they getting, like you say, grants and funding. So when they seen that you guys got all that money to help the youth, then they decided to take up an interest in the youth, and like they took the money though.
Now, Mr. Bolton, I want you to speak on a subject that has definitely been in the headlines lately. A lot of people have a lot of things to say about it. So I want you
a lot of animosity.
Right. I want you to
in the news.
Right. Just let the people
be
know.
real quick. We got 2 more callers, and we got to get to Hellenism within the next 7 minutes.
Let's let people know a little bit about the controversy surrounding the up and coming Mayweather event. Can you talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, man. The biggest thing is we can't allow other people to pick our heroes and tell our youth that who they should.
Correct.
Yeah. Woo! I like that.
Well, and the thing about it is, if you're not doing enough for young people, don't tell me who I should listen to. We need to hear from men that have made mistakes
Right.
in life. We don't need to hear from these perfect people because everybody didn't sin. Everybody didn't make
the
mistakes.
perfect liars, the ones who know how to hide it so well. The
tryna,
J. Edgar Hoovers.
And we got to stop that, man. We look at people today, they could be 50, 60, 70 years old, and their life is better. But when you go, if we was able to get in time machines, what was they doing at 15 and 16 years old? What was they doing when they was 20? And, everybody can perpetrate on the outside, man. But this event with Mayweather Sr. and Mickey Bay, man, it is about men that have made mistakes, but are willing to come in and tell young people, look, I messed up. You don't have to follow that track, and you can do something better with your life. Stay away from drugs. Stay away from all that alcohol. Focus on your education. And why? That's what we want to be able to hear about, man.
Right.
And it's the same old game, man. And instead of people jumping on board and saying, man, we support you, we with that, people have done the turnaround, and people have turned their backs. Right. Now, when I was in the community doing good, you didn't hear nobody. They didn't put me on the radio. They didn't put me on the news. It's like, man, 18 years, bro. Over 4,000 young people we've been working with in the district and around the country.
Wow. Hey, man, say that again. 4,000. 4,000.
Over 4,000.
Over 4,000. Wow.
Yes, have been through the Posse.
Wow.
And all these folks who have something to say have never stepped into schools with me one day.
Wow.
And not only that, they never even offered that type of support.
Hey, so give us a brief description of the actual event itself. I know it's taking place on August 24th.
Yes, sir. We have what's called the Champions Leadership Breakfast.
Right on.
And what that means is that we looking at who are the champions, who's out here championing whatever it is that they're doing, in business. People like Shioni Gibbons. I know her very well. Championing and helping small businesses. The work that you guys are doing, championing and creating young leaders. Same work that I'm doing. We want to be out here. Who are the people actually doing it? Who's
so when is this? Where is it going to be, and who's all invited?
It's going to be at Arrowhead Stadium. It'll be from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock. We're going to have. It's going to be hosted by Floyd Mayweather Sr. And Mickey Bay. We're going to have live entertainment, man. We're going to be giving out awards, to recognize those people who are selfless,
right on,
who have actually put others first, in our community. And, man, it's going to be a thing that you don't want to miss. Right. Even with all the controversy around it, it's going to be a thing you don't want to miss, man.
You say it's a fundraiser. What's the donation?
The tickets are $65. You can actually purchase a table for $500, and if you want to come out and promote your company, your business, or your organization or products that you have, we have booth space available. Half a table is $500. A full table is half a table is $250, and a full table is $500.
Right on.
Hey, and like I said, there's been a lot of controversy around, but come on out to Arrowhead, man. It's beautiful. We have a beautiful venue set up, man, and we're gonna have some good breakfast. A lot of networking going on.
And where can the people locate?
Come out and see it for yourself.
And where can the people let the people know where they can locate you at, or the website and whatnot, and where they can pick up their tickets?
Yeah, you can go on to the Posse website, which is www.posseyouth youth.org/event.
Right on.
Go to that our website, go to our event page, and that again is www.posseyouth.org. That's POSSE youth.org, and just hit our events page. And you can purchase tickets there and get more information about the event.
Hey, Mr. Bolton, I definitely appreciate you sharing the information with us this morning. I definitely appreciate you taking your time out of your morning to come on the show and let people know what it is that you're trying to do. And we're definitely going to bring you back. If that's okay with you, we're going to bring you back on the show. Maybe even get you down to the studio and have a little bit more of this conversation of how we can develop the youth and how the people can come out and support the things that you're doing. And so I want to say thank you again, brother, and God bless you, and make sure you stay safe out there. All right.
All right. Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man. Y'all guys have a blessed day.
Right on. Appreciate it. That was Oscar Bolton, and Reggie B. We got some more calls right before we get into the Hellenism. I think Yakeem Alpha Male Nation. All right. Yeah. Let's go ahead and bring on Alpha Male Nation. Let's hear what they got to say.
Hello.
Yes. Who am I speaking with?
This is Isaac Knight from Alpha Male Nation.
Oh, alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum, brother Knight. How you doing?
Wa alaikum salam. How you doing this morning?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for joining us this morning, brother.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I would like to send a shout out to Osco as well, because
all right.
I remember Osco from back when I was a kid and I was into trouble, and he was one of the guys to help me get back to school.
So we got a
You
testimony.
know what I'm saying? And back then, once I got back in school, I became part of a program of that school, and we went around to the elementary schools and mentored kids. So that's where my journey began.
That's
so,
what's up.
Shout out to Osco for that.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what's
yes,
up,
sir.
man. Appreciate it. I want to shout him out for that too, man. Saving the soul, man.
So now, Brother Knight, you rocking with the Alpha Male Nation now, huh?
Oh, yeah. Alpha male all the way, you know.
Right on.
Yeah, man, it's a beautiful movement, man. You know, it's a gang of guys that we all came together, and, you know, we try to make it to be a solution in the neighborhoods, man, where the problems is. You know, we trying to bridge the gap, you know what I'm saying? Like guys that did it before us did, you know what I'm saying? So we trying to be the new breath of the new generation that's coming about.
I see you up kind of early, man. What got you up so early?
Man, I'm blessed.
I know that's right. Alhamdulillah. That's for
Be up
sure.
every morning.
Alhamdulillah.
You know what I'm saying? Wake up every morning and offer my salat.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, thanks to the Creator.
That's what's up, man.
Hey, Brother Knight, I definitely appreciate you calling in and joining us on the conversation. But as you know, we got Brother Yakeem Muhammad out in California, man. He's been waiting to continue this next series of Hellenism. So we're going to go ahead and switch the segment real quick to Hellenism Part 2 and see if we can get into this very, very hot topic real quick before we end the show this morning. I want to say thank you again, brother, and assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, and thank you for having me.
Right on. Brother Reggie B, do we got Yakeem Muhammad on the line? Brother Yakeem.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How you doing, Aki?
Alhamdulillah. Praise be to Allah. I'm good this morning. Anxious to get into this. You know what I mean?
Yes,
sir. All right, and for everybody who don't know, I want you to look up this word Hellenism, and really I want you to really start to follow the logic behind what took place during the time of Alexander the Great in his rule over the eastern lands in the Levant and whatnot. Because if you really start to trace the pattern and start to trace the development of Hellenism in Western civilization, you will definitely start to see some correlations. And I'm gonna turn it over to Brother Yakeem. What are we going to discuss today about Hellenism? Let us know.
But last week when we were discussing it, we basically laid the foundation of what Alexander put into an effect,
right,
and the subordinates that came after him. We spoke about one in particular by the name of Antiochus Epiphanes.
Right.
You can find this information if you go to the Apocryphal Bible, which is the Greek. Not the Greek. The Catholic version of the Bible, in the Book of Maccabees. And the Book of Maccabees, you know, it's not a canonized book. But what it is a book that the Christian scholars and the historians cannot deny the historic fact of it. It's not really it's not really talking about the religion. It's talking about the persecution which Hellenism had did to the Jews at this point under the rule of Antiochus Epiphanes, and it went all the way down until when Mary's son was born. So when Mary's son was born, he was born into a society that the high priesthood was already corrupted. The law was already abolished. Hellenism was running rampant to the point whereas they were in the Book of Matthew told you that when Mary's son went into the temple and he had to run them out. He made cords of whip and ran them out because they was in there selling and like it was a marketplace. But this practice had already started with Antiochus Epiphanes that he went into he came down after he had conquered Egypt. He came down and went up into Jerusalem with a force and he went into the holies of holies and built an abomination upon the altar. He erected a statue of Zeus, and they was doing all types of debauchery inside of the tabernacle, like having sex and all types of things. But that mindset was already set in motion by by Antiochus Epiphanes, and then when it came down to Yahshua, the Hebrew Messiah, because you have to understand, Jesus Christ is the Greco-Roman fabrication.
Greco-Roman fabrication.
That's what it is. When you use this name, Jesus Christ, you are using a Hellenistic name and a Hellenistic concept. Because remember, when one changes his name, except the Greek dress and the Greek language and the Greek religion, meaning that Greek philosophy, this one has been Hellenized. And this is what, so the question to anyone that's listening, I ask you, if Mary's son was to come back tomorrow, and you walk up to him and say, Jesus, would he acknowledge you? No, he would not.
So you're saying that Jesus Christ would not recognize the name Jesus Christ?
No, because he had he done that, then he would have been Hellenized by definition. And this is something he spoke out against. His problem with the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they were already Hellenized. When you get into the Sadducees was like a high political party.
All right, so Brother Muhammad, let me ask you one question, and I definitely apologize. We're definitely going to have to try a little bit harder to get you on a little bit earlier in the show so that we can give a fair amount of time to this topic, because I think this is a topic that a lot of people want to be engaged in, but it doesn't seem like we have enough time today to actually get an in-depth conversation about it. But we will have this conversation next week, so everybody tune in next week at 7 o'clock sharp, KGGN 890, and we're definitely going to continue part 3 of the Hellenism series. But I wanted to ask you a question real quick. What would be the difference between me worshiping Jesus or give a recognition to Yahweh? I will. Could you clear that up for us?
See, here's the thing. When you go into the New Testament, right, and you read anything you read in the New Testament that doesn't line up with the Old Testament, it has to be rejected.
You said anything that is in the New Testament that doesn't line up with the Old Testament has to be rejected?
It has to be rejected, because remember, when Yahshua, the Hebrew Messiah, walked this planet Earth, there was no New Testament. So all he taught was from the books of the prophets and the Torah. So anything he said, it had to line up with that. Anything that goes against that is nothing that he could have propagated, because then he would be going against what he was sent to do. He wasn't sent to the whole of humanity. He was sent to a specific group of people, and he told people that over and over. I was sent to the lost house of Israel only.
I got one question there. I don't know I hope it has some relevance. But who was the key player that propagated Christianity?
The key players that propagated, remember, they were first called Christian, and Acts 11:26 tell you that.
Acts 11:26.
Yes.
But I thought was it Paul, formerly Saul, who propagated Christianity?
Exactly. And Acts 11:26 tell you that the disciples were first called Christians in Antioch. This is after the supposed crucifixion, right? Paul and his cohorts, and Paul and his cohorts labeled this Christianity thing and propagated it with Jesus, the Greco-Roman fabrication, because what Yahshua brought was called the Way. And when you get into the Way, then the Way goes into the Essene, and the Way consists of acknowledging Yahweh and the books of the prophets. And Paul has confirmed this in Acts 24:15. 15:24.
And he was the one. He was the one that viciously, notoriously persecuted anybody. They wasn't Christians at the time he was persecuting them, because I imagine they didn't have that title. So anybody who
right, because exactly, beloved. Because in Acts 9:2, Paul tell you who he was persecuting.
And he said that he would do it by all means, even if it had to be deceit. Even if he said that he would take that group of people, them ideas down, even if he had to use deceit. And next thing you know, he got knocked off his high horse, and he came back as Paul, talking about, hey, Christians.
Once he changed his name, remember, he became Hellenized. But in Acts 9:2, he said he went to the high priest and said, "Give me letters for when I go to Damascus. If I find anybody who's following the Way." See, now there's a difference. So we have Christianity and we have the Way. When you go into the Way, then you will be following the laws of Moses and everything that Yahshua the Hebrew Messiah told you. And we go into Christianity, then we go off into Hellenism, which is paganism, and we're worshiping nothing but paganistic deities under the banner of Christianity.
Hey, listen, brother Muhammad, if you could just for 1 second, because I have the book myself. I've been doing my homework. I've cracked it open, and I'm definitely trying to get up to speed, and I definitely look forward to having this conversation next week. Like I said, I've been doing my homework, but could you let the people know real quick where they could find the book at, and so they can be involved in this conversation next week?
Well, anyone that wants the book, and I'm giving the book away for free.
For free.
For free. Well, all you have to do is email me at wise, WISEDOME, wisedome@hotmail.com, and I will email you the book immediately.
Right on, brother Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And you can, like you said, you can get that book at wisedome.com. And I want to thank everybody for joining us today. This is Kicking the Facts with Derron Black, co-hosted with Jeff Francis. We had a very engaging conversation. I want to thank everybody who called in. Brother Isaac Knight with Alpha Male Nation.
Yes, sir.
Oscar Bolton with the Posse. Yakeem Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? This is in the MFR is back. Well, they ain't never really left or went nowhere. They just stepping it up a notch. And I also want to thank my man Reggie B, who be holding us down, and KGGN and everybody out there for their support. Miss Sherry Collins, we love you. We appreciate you. Shioni Givens at S. Givens and Associates, and everybody else out there in the town who got love and support for Kicking the Facts with Derron Black. Shout out to the GRT. Yeah, for all you haters. Assalamu alaikum, and God bless everybody.
KGGN, Gladstone.